So here I am again with another video, this time with a different perspective. And it's a different perspective in several ways. Number one is of course the angle of the camera, which this time is a handheld phone, nothing high tech. Number two is because it's a mess in here today and I cannot be bothered to clean. So I will just hold the camera instead. And also, yes, to symbolize that I have a new perspective on things, on life, a new outlook. After I had my biannual medical exam at the hospital, where I got the results from my MRI, and I finally got to have a chat with the doctor after having had so many concerns. But so this was a very special appointment because it wasn't like anything like any other appointment that I've had before, and this in a very good way. I will tell you about it in a little bit. So firstly, the MRI. I asked about it. I was very like nervous for some reason about it, perhaps because I hadn't been feeling so well and I wasn't taking into account the change of medication and the weather and so on. But it turned out that there were no new lesions, which he just announced to me like as if it was completely normal. Where in my head I was just jumping with joy and screaming at the top of my lungs with relief. And yeah, but then it turns out that that's how it's supposed to be. There's supposed to be, once you're in treatment, there's supposed to be no new lesions. So it was no surprise to them. After this formal first question, the doctor went on to tell me about a project he'd embarked on from which he returned a few months ago, which was sailing around the world with MS patients for a year. The project is called Oceans of Hope. There's a book, there's a website. I haven't read it, but it sounds like a very good project. It was all about like changing their way of looking at their condition and what they could and couldn't do, mostly to make them aware of what it was they could do, and that they were able to control a boat and sail around the world and be on a boat for a year, despite all the imbalance that this might entail. So yeah, after telling me about this at length, he finally said, like, I guess we're gonna have to do the formal physical examinations. Even though I don't think it's necessary because you look like such a healthy young man. So, all right, just get up and take a few steps. So I did. I take a few steps, and then he's like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. All right, stand on one leg. Okay, I do that. No problem there. Stand on the other leg. All right, no problem there either. As I expected. So then he says, okay, now close your eyes and see if you can stay in balance. So I do that. I feel myself spinning around a little bit. To which he says that, no, it's perfectly normal to spin around a little bit when you close your eyes. So you're all good, sit down. So he says like, well, I think we're pretty much done here. And after saying that, he gives me a whole speech about how he considers more important to make the patient not realize what he's not capable of doing by doing all sorts of exams, but rather showing them what it is that they can do, emphasizing what it is that they can do. And that's exactly what he did. Instead of making me do all sorts of weird things, like, you know, all the routine exams of like having to touch your nose and and whatnot, just making me do, like, out of, you know, formality's sake, making me do a few things and confirming that I was fine and that I was able to do them, and actually expressing the results out loud instead of just scribbling down on a piece of paper solemnly and sullenly. So literally he proved this point, that it's much better to emphasize what it is that you can do, and that made me leave that office. So firstly, very happy because I had the good news of the MRI, and then very happy because I felt like I wasn't some case that needed to be studied and criticized, where all my flaws had to be pinpointed and examined and recorded, but rather where my capabilities are recorded and emphasized and commented on. So that did that I left wanting to just change my whole approach to everything. I don't want to beat myself up anymore over the fact that I have MS and that I'm a victim of my condition, but rather focus on what it is that I can do, not what I cannot do. Just pay attention to the fact that, for example, at the gym, every week I'm able to lift heavier weights. Or in yoga, I'm making so much progress and I'm able to do new poses all the time, and I'm able to do so many variations of the headstand all of a sudden, and that's thanks to my persistence that I now can do those things. And I want to keep believing that I can do that and that I will be able to do more thanks to my persistence and thanks to a more optimistic, determined, and positive outlook on this damned condition that MS is. Yeah. I just wanted to share the fact that I feel like I can feel already now after 3 days that it's changed completely my attitude, my approach to things. Yeah, my mood, and the fact that I now walk into a room full of people and I'm not paying attention to the fact that I might feel a bit shaky, or when I get off the treadmill after sweating like crazy and sprinting and whatnot, and my head is spinning and I see double. But rather the fact that I just got off that treadmill after pushing myself to the limit and fighting through the effort. And I could do that. And I can do so much more. So that's my new outlook, and also to accompany the spring, which fills me with hope, fills everyone with hope. It's gonna fill me with hope in that way, that I now believe much more in myself. And I want to share this with you guys, and I hope that this is gonna help. And I apologize if this is in complete conflict with your way of looking at things. But I think rather be optimistic than to spread negativity. So I hope you appreciate this, and I hope you're well. Bye bye.